Hello and welcome to Delapré, the Happy Abbey, a series of conversations with local people about Delapré Abbey and how it links to the wellbeing of the community. My name's Laura Graham, I'm a Northampton-based freelance writer and community activist, and in this episode I talk to Billy Little. Billy is a local artist and self-proclaimed fashion extraordinaire. He graduated from the University of Northampton in 2020 and is now pursuing his master's degree. If he was a font, he'd be Comic Sans in bright pink. And Billy's life motto is be bold or italic, never regular. In this episode, we talk about how Delapré grounds helped Billy get through lockdown, the joys of slowing down, what Delapré Abbey can do to attract a younger audience, and a potential drag workshop at Delapré. Billy, welcome to Delapré.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's lovely to see you and lovely to be sat in the library.
Oh my goodness, it's crazy, isn't it? These paintings are bigger than me.
Have you been here before?
I've been here before, but not inside. So
Right.
this is all new to me, and I had no idea that this was all so glam and fancy. A bit like me.
Do you want to describe what the library looks like to the people listening?
Oh, crikey, it's almost like what I'd imagine the Palace of Versailles. Lots of big paintings, old books, gold frames. Oh, there's a harp. If I knew how to play, I'd do a little tune.
Apparently we are allowed to touch things in here.
Or don't say that, I'll end up breaking everything.
I have yet to play the harp, but I'm determined to at some point. And we're also sat opposite this lovely big window, and we were just commenting on how many people are walking past. It's quite a cold day outside, but it's nice and sunny. I can see so many people, families, younger people, older people. There's just a lot of people here.
So many people, and I think especially since the first lockdown, I've definitely seen way more people come here. I mean, it's always been quite popular because it's almost like countryside, but in the town centre. It's just a nice little getaway, but specifically in the past year, it's definitely built up in terms of people, and not even just, dog walkers, kids, parents, me, you,
Yeah.
So many people. It's really quite nice to see, actually, and I'm just quite excited for the summer.
Yes, me too. Bring on the summer. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Billy.
Me? Well, I'm a local artist from Northampton. I'm just doing my master's degree now in something that sounds fancy, but it's not very fancy. And apart from that, I'm just doing my bits and bobs here and there. I'm a drag queen on the side, don't tell anyone. I think everyone already knows. But yeah, that's me, 22 years old.
Oh, a drag queen. Oh, exciting.
I know.
Northampton's very own drag queen.
Northampton's best. Oh, who said that?
So it's lovely to speak to you today and to speak to someone who, if I'm honest, I wouldn't automatically assume that you would engage with Delapré. And that's very stereotypical on my part, especially given that you're a young student from Northampton. I would have thought that this type of place is kind of boring. Is that the case?
Well, I've always been a bit of a nature lover, and I quite enjoy being on my own, just exercising. I mean, I used to work in a gym, but I never used to go and exercise there because I hated people watching me. So I always used to come to Delapré because there's lots of little, hidden patches of grass, and I'd often do my exercises here. And then only recently I discovered that there's a massive lake, which I had no idea about. So now I always go down there and just jog around. So the main reason why I started coming here was specifically for exercise. But then I discovered that, there's loads of cool little places, there's, little gardens and stuff. And then it just kind of became almost like a second home. So I come here pretty much every day now at some point. Not yesterday, obviously, because there was a blizzard.
Yes.
But I don't know, I just kind of gravitated towards this place, and it's close to home. I don't have to travel anywhere far, and it's just on my doorstep, really.
And how does it make you feel when you come and jog round the lake or have a little walk round?
Very calm, because there's fresh air. You're not jogging down busy roads, breathing in car fumes. And I just think everybody here is just happy. And it's just nice to be around. Makes me feel happy and calm.
They do seem really happy, don't they?
Yeah, perhaps I've taken something, who knows. But I just really enjoy this place. I think it's what I'd call a hidden gem of Northampton. I think a lot of people don't know it's here. I think more people are realising it's here, but I think more people need to find out because it's a fantastic place.
I very much agree. I think, and you were commenting on how, you started coming here sort of at lockdown. Lockdown has sort of forced us all out, hasn't it, to the spaces that we perhaps haven't used before. And I know that I've definitely explored green spaces in a way that I wouldn't have done before because there's nothing else to do.
Literally.
And it's actually such a lovely thing to do, isn't it?
It is, and I don't know about you, but it makes me feel healthier both physically and mentally coming here because I'm not trapped in my room dancing to Britney Spears in the full front mirror like I normally do.
That sounds joyful as well, though, to be honest.
It is until somebody walks in on you and they're thinking, what are you doing? But no, it's definitely just really nice to be here, open in the fresh air, because like you said, it's the only thing we could really do.
Yeah.
Particularly at the start, I mean, couldn't do anything.
No.
And now obviously more and more people can meet up, so this is just a really good place. There's park benches, there's trees, lots of dogs.
It's accessible as well.
Very
so
accessible.
That's
very,
one of the good
very
things
accessible.
about it.
Good parking too. A lot of places
Free
like
parking.
Well, yeah, exactly. And a lot of places like I've been to a lot of the National Trust places because I do go to around the country, and parking's always a nightmare. But here it's just lovely. Never have to worry about not having a space because there's always going to be one.
I actually cycled down today.
Do you?
Well, I mean, I don't cycle often. They've got some lovely cycle racks just near the cafe, which I think they've recently put in. So it's meant that I have no excuse other than to cycle down.
God, now I need to as well. Now I feel bad.
Don't feel bad. I've found out during the exploration of this series that it's incidental exercise that's the most important, or one of the most important things. So we don't need to worry or feel guilty about not going to the gym and sweating away for 2 hours. It's actually just, doing a bit of cleaning around the house, walking to the shop instead of taking the car. It's those little things that make the difference. So don't feel guilty.
Just keeping your mind and body active, I just think is so important, especially now.
And I quite like it here because, like you say, you feel calm because you're still in town, so you're not far from town, but you don't feel, I don't feel the claustrophobia of the buildings and
no, not at all.
The traffic and the noise, and the architecture of this building is beautiful.
Oh, it's stunning.
It's just gorgeous.
Absolutely stunning, and the interiors just as, if not even more. Like this is bizarre. I had no idea it was here.
I know.
I knew it was fancy, but not like this.
It's great, isn't it?
It is great.
All these books and stuff. I wonder how old they are. I know that there's particular care and attention needs to happen to look after these books, so I'm quite intrigued.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I wouldn't want to be the one responsible for that. No. But what I also like about this place as well is it's directly linked to the golf course, and then beyond the golf course you've got obviously the woods area, which is also public path and stuff, and you can head all the way down to Brackmills. It's so
I've
open.
not done it yet, and I understand that they're putting some sort of signage in so that people can direct themselves around better.
Yeah, I've noticed those.
But apparently, it's all linked up, and you can get down to the uni, and you can go quite far from here, and I didn't realise that.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday me and my granddad came down here. We started off by St Eleanor Cross, Queen Eleanor Cross, down to Brackmills, down to Great Houghton, excuse my pronunciation.
I think it's Great Houghton,
maybe. And then down to the uni, and then back through Delapré Abbey. So you can literally just do humongous loops, and Delapré Abbey is just in the centre of it all.
Yeah, that's good, and you can stop and get a cake as a reward.
Oh, the cakes here are amazing. I remember as a kid, because the cafe's moved, hasn't it? It used to be in the walled garden. I remember as a kid, I always used to have lemon drizzle. Oh yeah. It was always the best here.
I love a lemon drizzle.
The only place I ever used to come where the lemon drizzle was actually moist. Moist cakes.
And that's what's important in life, a moist cake.
It is, especially now, a moist cake.
So how do you think a heritage site like this can link to the well-being of the community? Because obviously you've mentioned how you use Delapré, but how do you think it would even support the well-being of people who live around here?
Well, I think there's a lot of activities that take place here that people don't know about. So like you were saying earlier, there's a lot of theatre shows. I remember, obviously at the moment we're not doing that, but there's always fairs, there's outdoor cinemas. Yeah. Jessie J came here, didn't she, the other year? That was amazing. Did you go?
No, I didn't go.
It's so good, so good. I just wish I was on stage with her. But there's so many activities that can bring people together, help people socialise, bring communities together. And I just think that you can't really get that at many other places. And Delapre just embodies community spirit, in my opinion. And I think that, especially now, really would help with the well-being of people.
Yeah, I agree. And I know that they've got an army of volunteers who are obviously help to maintain the house and the grounds. And from my own experience, I know how much volunteering really lifts your spirit and makes you feel connected and part of something bigger. And, you know, you get to make lots of friends and meet people. And we know how important that is now. I think we've really learned a hard lesson the last year that, you know, connection is just the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing as well, I think prior to COVID, the word makes me shudder. It should be banned after this year. But prior to COVID, I think everybody was, including myself, was just so busy and so fast-paced. Life was just ridiculous. It was on full speed. Whereas now, I mean, coming to places like Delapre, for me, it's just an opportunity to just slow down, just absorb my surroundings and just kind of relax, which I didn't do at all prior to this. I was doing a full-time job, practically 11, 12 hours a day. Never came to Delapre, really. Whereas now it's just an opportunity to sit back, relax, enjoy the freezing air, which will be warm soon.
It is quite cold, isn't it?
It's a bit nippy.
Well, at least it's not snowing today, so that's something.
Yes, that is a bonus. Snowing April is just, no, it's like...
It's not the one.
It's like Marmite on toast. Oh, I knew I'd cause offence.
Marmite aside, what do you think Delapre could do to engage with younger visitors?
For me, I find out a lot of information from Delapre through Instagram. I think capitalising on social media is definitely worthwhile. A lot of people are now more receptive to the video-oriented social medias. So perhaps, I mean, obviously I haven't researched this, but perhaps a TikTok might be good because it's very visual here. And I think it's important for them to capitalise on the visuals of Delapre. It's not just a piece of grass, is it? It's beautiful. So perhaps some videos, engaging with, you know, some micro-influencers from Northampton, getting them to voice. You know, a lot of people think, for influencers, you have to be huge, millions of followers. You don't. You know, there are so many micro-influencers out there, you know, from hundreds of followers to thousands of followers. They could be really good at connecting different audiences around the community. That, for me, is what I think would work best for getting younger people involved. Whether it would work or not, who knows?
Well, you're the marketing pro, so
that is my degree.
You mentioned that you're doing something that sounds glamorous, but it isn't. International marketing, wasn't it?
Yeah, so my master's is international marketing strategy, and it's basically an extension of my undergrad, which was advertising and digital marketing. So I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I might have a little specialism in marketing, 5 years worth at least, but I think capitalising on social media is definitely the way forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Perhaps some, you know, publications like what you're doing, podcasts, anything like that. Just getting the voice out there, increasing the reach. Because I think Delapre itself just sells itself. Yeah. Once you're here, I think it just sells itself. But I think it's about getting the people aware and getting them to come down, incentivising them in some way. I think once they're there, it'll be brilliant. I mean, just what happened to me, came down here, oh my God, in love with the place now. Second home.
All the time.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a flat here or something. See if they can make me a flat.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be quite happy to live in this library. I feel like it's actually bigger than my entire flat.
This library is
bigger
than my house. It's probably 2 times the size of my house. About 50 times the size of my bedroom.
Yes, definitely. It's gorgeous. So for me, heritage, which is obviously a big part of Delapre, it always feels like something that's very much for older, white, middle class, straight, cisgender people. That's the kind of image that conjures up in my mind. Whether that's accurate or not is a different story. But I do think that there is still some stigma attached to heritage and history. How do you think that somewhere like Delapre can kind of shake off that like old, stuffy, potentially viewpoint and make itself really accessible and friendly and different?
I think for me, I'd say events. I would say make use of the open space. I would say get, like we were saying earlier, we had Jessie J. I think we had Alfie Bow at some point, didn't we? Don't quote me. Possibly. It might have been a weird dream I had. But just things like that, the fairs, just getting people involved, making it seem, air quote, cool. Because obviously, like you said, there is a stigma that, heritage, that's boring, that's for history geeks. I actually find it really interesting, and I think a lot of other people do find it interesting, but I think getting events, people down here, making it seem accessible to younger people, getting them involved, socialising. I've seen a lot of people do outdoor gyms here, so whether we could get some outdoor workouts, anything like that, I think would just make it all seem a little more exciting and, like you said, breaking that little stigma.
Yeah, and it might be an unfair kind of viewpoint and quite a stereotypical viewpoint from my point of view, but I never felt like these types of places were for me, just because they would always have sort of like the red ropes that would rope everything off, and it would be very much like, don't touch this and don't do this. Whereas any interaction that I've had with the staff here has always been like, yeah, touch that and sit there. And because the first time I walked into this room, I sort of said, which chair can I sit in? Thinking that I might break something. And they just said, sit wherever you want. And they look like antique chairs, whether they are or they're not.
They do, don't they?
So I really like that about the attitude that I think the Delapré management have towards just letting people come in and experience it and not sort of making it feel exclusive.
No, it's incredibly welcoming. I mean, I walk here so much and you just see everyone from all walks of life here. It's so diverse, and the staff, like you said, are just so wonderful. And I've never felt like I can't go anywhere. I felt like, there's a lot of trust in the people that come here. They say, right, go and explore. And that's what I really enjoy. And I think, the walled gardens, even the lake, so many people come here, and it's just so, like you said, accessible. And
yeah, I think that's it. There's an element of trusting people to respect the grounds and the property, and then in return it makes us feel like it is ours, and like it's not just something that some rich person owns. Yeah,
it does feel like what you said, ours. It feels like we don't own it, but it feels like we're part of it.
Yeah,
it's not just it's not Buckingham Palace. Oh, look at that. Don't touch. Don't look at the guards. This is very much, it belongs to Northampton. It's a part of Northampton, and anyone, whether you're from Northampton or not, just come here. You don't need a pass. You don't need, like you said, you don't need any tickets.
Yeah.
It's just here for you if you want it.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of well-being then, so this series is all about how, heritage sites like this impact the well-being of the community. But I'm just interested to see from your perspective what your kind of top well-being tips are for people.
Even when you don't want to go out because you'll feel 10 times better. There's days when I wake up and I just think, can I be bothered to do anything? No, but then you have to force yourself and say, oh, that was a knee slap, by the way. You have to say, come on, get out, get some fresh air. And then once you're here as well, if you've got any worries, any anxieties, they just disappear because you're surrounded by nature. It's calm, it's peaceful. There's people around, but they don't bother you. And I quite often go and sit down by the lake, and whether it's half an hour to an hour, I get up, come back home, and I just feel like a completely different person. I just feel calm and relaxed. You can't do that at home. Get out and do something. And it's so close to anyone in Northampton. It's like, maximum 10, 15-minute drive?
Yeah.
It's really just helped me get rid of any anxieties and worries, and I think a lot of people as well. I know one of my friends, I shan't name and shame, but she's having a very stressful time with her job. She's working from home for a company in London. I introduced her to this place, and now she comes here on her own. She said it's just made her feel so much better, so much more relaxed, and I think that does that to a lot of people. And I'd encourage anybody, even if you don't feel anxious or stressed, just come down here and you'll still feel good. Still feel.
So getting out of the house is key.
Getting out of the house is key, and you've had a year to do it. No excuses. Come down.
Yeah.
That's slightly threatening then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you like.
Yeah, only if you want to. And you mentioned earlier you're a drag queen, so we must talk about this because this is, for me, everything. How did you get into being a drag queen?
So it started off at school. So the majority of my teachers were very supportive of me. I've always been a very feminine guy, whatever you want to call me. I'm not really too fussed.
What should we call you?
You just call me Billy.
Okay.
You can call me anything. I don't really mind. I know I'm not discrediting people that do follow pronouns. Personally, I don't really mind what you call me, as long as it's not it or that. But one of my friends put their makeup on one day and I was mesmerised by this because they could look completely different. They look stunning, and I asked them, how did you do this? And my friend told me, it's just a bit of mascara, a bit of foundation. And I was just mesmerised, and I thought, right, I'm going to go down to Boots on the weekend. I'm going to get some mascara, get some foundation. I'm going to come to school on the Monday. I'm going to put it on. And anyway, got to school and I was stopped at the front door by a teacher who I call Mrs. Smelly. She was like, you've got to take that off. You can't come in. I questioned it because I'm somebody who likes to question these things. And basically the answer was, well, you're a boy, you can't, And I was thinking, luckily another teacher kind of, Billy, you look nice, and put their arm around my shoulder and let me in. And ever since then, I was just not angry, but confused. Why can girls come in like this? I mean, I did wear a lot of makeup, to be fair. It was quite extreme. I had about an inch of foundation on my face, thickness. But since then, I was thinking, well, why can't I? Why can't I? So I just used to push the boundaries. Every Mufti day, I would come in, something a little more, draggy. So I remember once I came in like 9-inch platforms. I was absolutely ripped.
How did that go down?
I was ripped to shreds. Everyone going, what are those? But I used to do it just because I could, and I wanted to prove that it was okay to do that. And then I was told for prom, you can't come to prom unless you wear a suit. So I did come. I came in a catsuit.
I love that.
Neon yellow catsuit. I also won prom queen, which they didn't let me win. But I am the rightful queen. Just saying, out there. But that was kind of how it started. Just people saying you can't do it, and me going, well, actually, yes, I can do it. I'm going to do it. And then I got into the club scene when I was 18. Didn't wear makeup in the club scene, was very shy. And then I came across a guy, a much older guy, and he was dressed up, really, really, really nice guy, and he kind of took me under his wing. And he said, you should come in drag next time. And I did. And the response I got from everybody was amazing. I got about 10 free drinks as well, just saying. And then that was kind of how it started, and that was how I became a drag queen. I met a guy there who was a director of a dance studio in Kettering. He brought me on my first show. So my first show was in front of 500 people.
Wow.
I mean, it wasn't exclusively for me. I was part of the show.
It's a baptism of fire though, isn't it?
It was amazing. It was incredible. And since then, word of mouth. I hear you do drag. Do you want to come and perform? It's like, yeah. I performed at the uni. I poured a beer pint over me. That's on YouTube somewhere. Oh my God. I've had about 50 different names as well. But now, this year exclusively, I've kind of absorbed my drag into me, because obviously I haven't been able to do it. I find that I've kind of absorbed it into me. So I do wear makeup a lot of the time now. This is kind of my day-to-day stuff. I still consider myself a drag queen. I still do drag, but a lot of that I've taken into my own character now. So I do wear makeup. I am quite feminine.
So it's part of your identity now, rather than a character definitely. That you're...
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, a lot of drag queens say it's a character, and they distinguish their drag character from them as a person. I've never really felt that, because although I've said that I'm a drag queen, or I've put myself under a different name, I'm not acting differently. It's still me. I'm just turned up a notch. I'm turned up to 5,000. And also, by calling yourself a drag queen, you can get away with a lot more things. So I kind of use that as an excuse to get away with murder. But it's, in recent years, it's kind of absorbed into me. I'm just kind of Billy.
Yeah.
But,
and how does that feel now that you've absorbed that sort of side of you and your, I guess, being your full self? Oh,
fantastic. I mean, at first it was a bit daunting, because I never used to go out during the day makeup, never, and I started doing it, but so much positive feedback. And to be fair, I don't even really get that much feedback, because I don't think people realise that or care. I don't think people care. I've never had anyone point and say, "Oh, look at that, it's a boy in makeup." I never get that. It's always positive, and I think I'm quite fortunate. I've never really had any problems at all. And I mean, I come here in makeup on my own. I feel safe here.
Yeah.
And I've also got a wonderful partner out of it.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so we've been together now nearly 6 months. At first, I was really worried. I was thinking, are they going to want me in makeup all the time and stuff? And he turned around and said, "I love you for who you are, whether it's makeup, no makeup." Honestly, he's amazing. I'll have to bring him down here one day. He's absolutely amazing. And if it wasn't for, really embracing myself and just becoming at one with myself, I don't think I would have had that relationship.
That's so important, isn't it? And that's a really good point. And as RuPaul always says,
if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen? That was the most outrageous, offensive accent. I'm so sorry for any American viewers.
Yeah, let's apologise.
Accents were never my forte.
But no, do you know what? And she's right. You've got to love yourself.
If you can't love yourself, how is RuPaul going to get another paycheck?
And interestingly, you mentioned that you had tried out for British Drag Race.
I did. I tried out for I tried out for season 1 of UK Drag Race. I'm not sure how much I can say because I had to sign an NDA, but there's a few different stages in the application process. It's not simply sending off a video and then they tell you whether you've got it or not. There's a lot more involved. And I got through a couple of stages, didn't quite make it to the end, but their loss. My gain. I'm still trying to find out what my gain is, but it's definitely their loss.
It's a good story.
It's a good story, and no one ever believes me. They're like, "No, you?" I'm like, "Yes, me."
And what is your drag name?
Started off as Lunatique.
Nice.
Then I found out that there was already somebody in Birmingham called Lunatique, and me being me, I couldn't have that. And then it just happened to come about. It just randomly, someone said it to me on a night out, Gagatha Christie, and I just absolutely wet myself laughing at it. I mean, perhaps it's not as funny as it was when I was drunk.
I think it's hilarious.
But ever since then, I was like, yes, Gagatha Christie. Can I take it for my own? No, because some stranger told me it in the club. But I've looked online, can't find anyone else, so I've claimed it.
Thank you, stranger in the club.
Thank you, stranger in the club. I'll buy you a drink.
Well, we were just talking earlier to Christine, who works here, and we were talking about whether they would be interested in having a drag act here.
Oh my
And she
goodness.
seemed extremely excited about the prospect.
Do you know, that would just be absolutely fantastic.
That would be
We need a
amazing.
petition. Delapré Draggy. Yes. Delapré Draggy. There you go. We need to do a drag workshop, some lip syncs, proper,
Yeah, makeup. We need to be making costumes.
Oh,
we need to
my
get the glue guns
goodness.
out.
Oh my goodness, that would be
Oh
incredible.
God, can we even do some reading? Because it is
Yes.
fundamental.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
We could do it in the library.
Could you imagine? Billy, your denim look is more That would be incredible. Reading at Delapré Abbey.
Oh, that would be so good. For anyone who's listening and has no idea what we're talking about, reading is a skill of kind of being a little bit shady and a little bit mean, but on the nice, funny side of mean to someone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like what they would call a poop sandwich. You give them something nasty, then you give them something nice, and then you give them something nasty again. And it's a good opportunity to just get everything you want off your chest in a nice way.
In a sarcastic, funny way,
Yeah.
rather than in a I hate you way.
Yeah, like, Billy, the ends of your hair have gone beyond split. They're divorced.
Oh, you are hilarious and
you.
amazing, and I'm so glad that we got to have a chat today.
Yes.
I wanted to wander around outside, but it's just a little bit cold. But I'm so glad we came inside and sort of sat in the library.
I don't really want to leave. I kind of want to move in.
Shall we mess with the harp?
Shall I go with the harp?
Shall we?
Oh my goodness.
Let's do it.
Oh my god, I hope it don't break.
I'm a bit scared.
I'm a bit scared. What if my hair gets caught in it?
We
We have to call the fire brigade.
I don't know. It looks like.
Oh my
should we?
goodness. Oh my goodness.
I mean, this harp is bigger than me.
It also looks like it's incredibly expensive.
So I'm just gonna.
Oh, it's very quiet. Oh,
Oh.
oh,
Oh.
oh.
Okay. So.
Okay, how about this?
Go on.
Let's leave. It is still intact, by the way.
It sounds like a really out of tune guitar.
Yeah.
Thank you, Billy. We've had some fun. We've hopefully not broken the harp.
We haven't.
And it sounds like people are coming now.
It does.
Say goodbye, and thanks ever so much for chatting to me. And we'll speak to you soon. Well, when you have your drag act here.
Next week. Let's do this.
What an utter joy it was to speak to Billy. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as I did. I literally giggled all the way through it. And I'm really looking forward to signing up to Billy's potential reading in Delapré Library workshops. Reading with quite a difference though. It's going to be fun. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and share, and look out for further episodes in this series.